Welcome, everyone. Saturday morning. It's December 5th. How did December come so quickly? I just don't know. And this is our second team call of the week for our Healthy Habit. No, what is it called? Our Healthy Holiday Challenge. So first of all, did you guys know that they're going to have another challenge in January? And that's going to be an option to, I just got the first links about it, that if I want to sponsor a team again, to go open my room and start sending invites. I think it's going to start maybe the second week of January. I need to go back and read the information. So my January teams have always, I had 30 on a team in January a couple of years ago, because lots of people say they want to start the new year right, you know. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Tom's on, and now I just had somebody, who's this, with the 202 number?
Hey, it's Victoria. How are you?
Yay, Victoria. We don't see your face.
I know. I can't get the silly system to work for me. And when I tried to call in, it took me 2 times to make it work. So either I'm having Saturday, like I can't work IT stuff, or there's a problem. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, I called in. I'm here now. Hi.
Thank you. I'm glad you're there. And I know you know how to do stuff like this because you do it all day for work, your work, right? So I'm sorry if the system is not cooperating this morning. So, all right. So we've got Beth and Sheila's faces on the screen, and we've got Tom and Victoria's voices. And what we're going to talk about this time is activity and what part that plays with our healthy habits. So be thinking about what you're currently doing and if this challenge has helped you raise it a notch. And there's 2 different kinds of activity we focus on. One is called EAT, and the other is NEAT. So the NEAT ones stand for non-something, I don't know the exact words. Anyway, what it means is that there will be a reading about it if there hasn't been already. But what it's about is the things we do that aren't necessarily cardio, but they're things that we do in our everyday life. So like, for example, instead of using a can opener that's an automatic can opener, you do the one by hand, because by turning, it's giving you some exercise. Or instead of always putting things in the dishwasher, washing dishes by hand. So when we've come into this modern age that we have things like escalators and elevators instead of walking upstairs, and we have cars instead of walking, then it's caused our everyday activity level to go way down, and it's caused obesity to go way up. So we're just looking at doing little things in our day. And so one of the things we can do is just stand more often. And I know Amy, once she learned this the first time we did the challenge with Amy, she changed her desk, and she is a gal that's like Victoria, that she does a lot of her work as talking on the phone and at a computer, and I bet Tom does too. Anyway, she changed, and so
yes, I do.
She has a standing desk now instead of a sitting desk, and so she stands as she does her calls. So when Amy was on the phone with us the other day, I asked if she was kind of dancing while she was talking, and she does. She's at that standing desk, and she's marching in place, and she's doing all this stuff whenever she's on the phone, and it's really helped just increase her activity level. So another thing that we can think about is our posture. Our, how we sit up straight in our chair makes a difference, because activity and fitness comes in 3 categories. There's our strength, and so that's, our muscle tone, our flexibility, and then our activity, like our cardio. So those are the 3 different kinds of activities. So I want you to be thinking of what kind of activities you've been doing, and if you've raised it up a notch by being part of the challenge, and what you'd still like to accomplish. Way down the path. Like, I know Tom's looking at doing a marathon in the summer. So anyway, I'll start. Before I lost the 50 pounds with this program, I had been always active as a kid. I did things and climbed trees and all those things. But just as I'd gained weight, I had always continued to water ski, and I'd continued to hike with my family. But sometimes those hikes were near-death experiences. I wasn't sure I would live by the time I got to the top of Timpanogos and carrying my backpack. So it's been fun to have, like we talked about the bags of potatoes a couple of times ago, to have those less bags of potatoes on me, and it's just made hiking more fun. So I have a hiking buddy I hike with every Tuesday morning. And then knowing how I am, I'm really good at making excuses. Did you guys hear that thing about the difference between excuses and reasons and priorities? I thought it was really good. And so I think in my mind, I thought they were reasons, but really they were excuses. And so knowing myself, I signed up for 2 PE classes this last semester. So I've been 2 hours a week at Zumba and 2 hours a week at strength training, plus my hour of hiking. So having 5 hours scheduled that I have to be there to get an A, or that my hiking buddy's waiting for me, has really helped me to increase my activity this semester. So that's what I've done, and I feel better. I sleep better. I just sit up straighter. I have less back pain. I just feel better when I'm more active. And so I'm not trying to train to run a marathon. I'm not there yet, but I have done a couple of 5Ks. So that's fun. Okay, so Tom has to go pretty soon. So Tom, why don't you tell us how things are going for you?
Well, I mentioned if you can pull me out of the depression, I'd be better. But I tried this week. I didn't eat bad meals, but my weight was still exactly the same as it was last week, and that just hit me wrong. So this has not been a good morning, and the rest of the day may not go well. But my activity level, to be honest with you, my activity level has not increased because it's winter and I get home later and it's dark and it's cold. And so I haven't really increased any activity, but I was trying to eat better and my weight stayed exactly the same as last week. That's why I sent you this morning that email or the text about changing the goal. And so I don't know if I should even bother, but I don't know. So I didn't do very well this last week.
Okay, so you said your weight stayed the same. Were you surprised that your weight was the same, or did you kind of know before you got on the scale?
No, I physically felt like it should have been lower, but I was shocked that it stayed the same, and a little depressed. Well, it might have been the fact that we had Papa Murphy's pizza last night out at my parents', and so that didn't help that you've got all that dough and everything sitting in your gut all night, and then when you step on the scale in the morning. Plus, I think my scale's not good anymore, but so life goes on.
You're weighing once a week, is that correct?
Yes, I only do once a week. I can't do it during the week, or that just doesn't jive for me.
Okay, because there's a lot of factors besides just our eating, but it's have you been drinking your water all week? Have you been getting your sleep all week? That affects.
Oh yeah.
Okay, how are your clothes fitting?
I do 80 plus. Well, my clothes fit much. Well, it fluctuates a little bit, but my clothes are fitting much better since we first started this challenge. So I'm very, very pleased with that.
Some clients, I have them just throw their scales away, because if getting on the scales and you haven't lost weight when you feel like you've been trying really hard, it causes your mind to just be really discouraged, then I wouldn't have scales be your measurement. I'd have it be by your waist measurement, by how your clothes are fitting, by how you're feeling, and just forget about the scales. I mean,
the only reason why the scale plays a part right now is because when I started the challenge, I put that was it 4%. I put the 4% weight loss, and now I'm wishing I would have just said I can maintain, because I haven't gained any, but I've lost not 4%.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't do my body measurements before we started the contest. And I should have measured my waist and things that I know have changed. But oh well, life goes on, and I'll keep going.
Well, the worst thing that would happen is that you wouldn't get your $20 back. But if you've lost 8 pounds or 10 pounds, it's still worth the $20, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
I don't know if I can keep doing this challenge over and over again because it's $20 every time you do it. But
yeah, and yeah, I put that I was going to lose 4%, and I'm going to be pretty close, but I'm still going for it. And I thought, you know, I can do it. So
well,
I'm sorry.
With only a week left, I can't starve myself any worse than I've already been doing to not eat.
Okay, so starving isn't the way this program works. You should never
No,
starve.
and I haven't been. It's eating better calorie conscious foods, but I can't do any less than what I've been doing, or I will feel like I'm starving. So,
so are you eating 6 small meals a day?
I can't do that because I sit at my desk at work, and it just doesn't work for me to do 6.
Because that really is the key. So Beth has
yeah.
Can you tell Tom about how you've been able to work out the 6 small meals a day?
Yeah, I sometimes it's a challenge because the work I do, I'm out and about. I'm a gardener, and I do like we're pruning and plowing and blowing leaves and stuff. And it's hard for me to say, I got to take a break and go eat my food. But I haven't measured out, so when I do take a break, I eat, and my snack is part of my meal. And then when it's mealtime, I'm not like so ravenous, because when I am watching my calories, I'm not even really watching my calories. I'm just watching the type of food I'm putting in my mouth. I'm eating more healthy and stuff, and I just do better with smaller meals. And you can work it out. It's just like, you know, it has to be a priority. It's a challenge. It's like, okay, am I up to this? Do I have enough in me to prepare my meal, get it ready for tomorrow, so I have my 6 small meals and still, you know, and then have things on the side, like batches of veggies ready to grab if I'm still hungry, because that's like free food. I mean, you can eat that all day and never feel hungry, but you're not packing on calories. So, you know, that's how it works for me, and I haven't been perfect in it, but I've been more inclined to do it. I'm working harder on that. That's a main focus in my life. And like you, Tom, I do not like the scales. They don't make me feel good very often, but it does make me. Yeah, it makes me feel good to not have to lay on my bed to zip my pants up. You know, that to me is a win. Yeah, that to me is a win. And I hate it when I have this great week and I get on the scale and nothing has moved, and then I have to say, all right, you're allowing that to knock your brain crazy. You get to think about all the things you did do, all the times you said no. That is the win. The $20 is nothing. What is everything is my health and how I'm feeling about my success on getting my body, taking care of my body.
No.
You know, that's my true goal, is taking care of my body. And we have all these things to help us weigh and measure how we're doing it to see if we're being successful. A lot of it is mental and emotional, and that cannot be weighed or measured.
No. And the purpose, Tom, the purpose of the 6 small meals, and I think there's probably been a daily reading about this that had a graph that was orange and red and yellow, and it had some purple lines going up and down. It talked about our blood sugar. What this program is based on isn't about calorie in, calorie out. It's about balancing our blood sugar, because they found if we keep our blood sugar pretty level on the low side, that then it keeps our insulin in check. Insulin decides if it's going to store fat or let it go. That's what it helps to decide. It's kind of the gatekeeper. And so if we've skipped a meal, it causes our blood sugar to drop. And skipping a meal technically is if you've been more than 3 hours without food. So if you go more than 3 hours without food, your blood sugar drops. It causes your body to produce insulin to get your blood sugar back up so you don't go into a diabetic coma. Or even if you're not diabetic, your body still works on keeping your blood sugar level. So what happens is that insulin kicks in to bring your blood sugar up, and then if it's been more than 3 hours since you've eaten, what happens is the insulin says, I'm going to store the next meal. So even if the next meal is really healthy, it's going to store it instead of burn it. So that's technically why you eat every 3 hours. So for example,
That's a good idea.
So if at lunch you have a sandwich and an apple, eat half the sandwich and half the apple, and then 3 hours later, eat the other half the sandwich and the other half an apple. That's what you do. So you just take what you would eat for breakfast, cut it in half, eat half of it at breakfast, half of it 3 hours later. Half your lunch, half of it 3 hours later. Eat a small dinner and then a snack before you go to bed. And it makes it easy. You're not going to eat any more food. You're just going to break it up. And I know they talked about that in one of the readings about group A and B, and how group B that took the same food over 6 meals lost the weight. If you'd change that one thing, Tom, you'd be surprised what would happen with the meals this week. Yeah.
No, I'm going to have to think about I'm going to have to try that.
Mm-hmm. Try it, because it's an interesting thing that you don't get to the point that you're so hungry that then you just start grabbing anything. So Victoria, tell me about how your activity's been. And
okay, I got to log out. We'll catch you later.
Bye. Okay. We'll come back to you, Beth, with your activity, but I wanted to hear from Victoria because we haven't heard from her yet. So tell me about 6 small meals, how you've gotten it to work for you, and then also about your activity, Victoria.
Sure. So I have to say the 6 small meals does not work for me, actually. What I found does work for me is I tend to eat earlier in the day. I eat like pretty much all of my food except for maybe vegetables or a little protein or something like that. I tend to eat before 4, just because once the boys get home, I find the boys very stressful. And I find if I'm hungry and stressed, I tend to overdo it. And if I'm full, makes it a lot easier. So I tend to eat earlier. That works for me. And I tend to also works for me is, proteins, healthy fats, and veggies. And if I eat fruit, it's like berries and stuff like that, not like kind of, like lower carb fruits, oranges and apples and stuff. And then I avoid bread and carbohydrates. And that combination, eating earlier in the day, lots of water, and then, protein and veggies and healthy fats, to me, that is the combination that works. And where I get derailed is more on the emotional side, where if I'm too tired or if I am getting stressed out, the boys are driving me nuts, things are going crazy at work, stuff like that is I continue trying to work on, ways of dealing with stress better, or that sort of thing. So that's the area where I really try to focus.
So you have emotional triggers are usually the weakness for you then.
Yeah, okay. Definitely for me.
And just knowing that about yourself is really helpful, isn't it? To just say. So what have you learned to do through the last few weeks or a few months that help you with those emotional triggers? What techniques are you using?
Right. So avoiding feeling hungry during times that I know I'm going to feel stressed out, like dealing with, the nighttime routine with the boys and stuff, making sure I'm not hungry during those times that I had, ate plenty earlier on, so I don't have to eat while I'm in the middle of that kind of chaos.
So you're prepared in advance by having nutrition, nutrition on board so that you're not feeling weak and shaky to handle stress. That's really good.
Yeah, I think that's probably my main thing. And then, deep breaths. I use that technique a lot. And then I use prayer a lot. Just all of the boys are driving me nuts, be like, okay, let's pray together. And just like, okay, dear God, help us remain calm through the situation. And I do that out loud also with the boys so that, it's part of a teaching technique so that hopefully they're going to learn those, asking for, the higher power to intervene with the chaos of our life and sort of teaching those techniques at the same time.
Good for you. Good for you.
Those are the things I use. And, I'm always on the lookout for new stuff, but like calming techniques and things like that is kind of where I try to focus.
Good.
And in terms of exercise stuff, you said that somebody else has a standing desk. I am a big believer in the standing desk. Even if I don't have time to go out for a run, if I have been standing instead of sitting all day, I feel like I've done something for myself.
Well, yeah, you burn extra calories by standing, no question.
Yeah, and like walking around the room on the phone instead of sitting there, and typing while I'm standing and stuff like that is that's huge. And it's not expensive if anyone's considering it. And there's I literally cobbled one together using stuff from IKEA, like $30 worth of materials from IKEA, and just nailed it together, and it works just fine.
Good.
And then running, I'm trying to get more miles in, and she had to shift to if I can't get out in the middle of the day, had to shift to the indoor track at the gym. But it's fine. I have this running app that kind of calls out, it's in my ear, calls out, okay, run faster, run slower, walk and take a break, and that sort of stuff. So it kind of keeps it a little bit more interesting to do indoor running. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't do enough strength training. I'm always like, I should probably do more strength stuff, but I'll it's not like a super urgent thing to me. I'll get around to it, I guess.
Okay. Thank you, Victoria. You are, I know you're very motivated to do that running and races, and you are pretty close to your goal weight now, aren't you?
I am. The other day when I weighed myself, I was like half a pound off from my 4%. So I don't think I'm going to have a problem meeting the 4% by the end of next weekend.
And the last couple of challenges, you've met your goals too. So that's what I'm saying. Overall, you're pretty close to your main goal, not just the 4% thing. Aren't you getting close?
Well, so yeah. I'm healthy weight now. I'm like just at the top end of healthy weight. And I posted the other day that, like when I get close to, when I hit this weight that I'm at, I tend to get kind of stuck. Like I could definitely stand to lose more weight. I'm healthy. I'm in the healthy zone. But I get to this weight, and then it's like I kind of like freak out, and I'm like, I sort of self-sabotage myself or something. It's like my freak out weight or my barrier weight. And so I think maybe next time we go through this, that's going to be my goal, kind of breaking through that, whatever that emotional block is.
One of the things I learned from nutrition support is I've had clients that get close to their weight and then kind of plateau. First of all, they don't consider it a plateau unless you've been 2 weeks without any kind of loss, either by measurements or weight loss. So if you've been 2 weeks and you've been sticking to the program and you haven't lost anything, they say it's 2 weeks before they consider a plateau. So if it's been 2 weeks and no weight loss, then what we do with clients is we increase the protein to carb ratio. So if right now you're eating, for example, about 100 grams of protein a day and 100 grams of carbs a day, so about even, and that's kind of the goal, is to do even. So whether it's 80 carbs and 80 protein, or 120 carbs or 120 protein, and I don't expect that you count those every day. I just expect that you kind of come up with, and I can send you guys a link if you want to an app that you can put in things, and then it figures the carbs protein ratio for you. You just put in, like you had this much yogurt, this brand, and it figures it out for you. Anyway, but you can do that by just looking at, and just figure out one day, this is about what I need, this many grains, this many fruits, this much protein. And anyway, so what we do is sometimes as you get closer to your goal weight, we need to cut back on the carbs and increase the protein a little bit. So you can keep your carbs the same, but you're going to increase your calories by adding an extra 10 grams of protein. So if you've been having 6 ounces of protein a day, you're going to increase it to 8 ounces. So you're going to have an extra string cheese or 2, or you're going to have an extra couple ounces of lean chicken. Or what I like to do is tell people to add an egg to their breakfast each morning. Just add 1 egg each morning. And what happens is that kind of gets you off that stuck spot. So you might want to try is just adding some extra protein, and you could cut back on some of the fruit or grains. So just so that carb to protein ratio is a little different. So the protein's higher than carbs. So you can try that. Okay, Beth, I'm sorry that we haven't heard very much from you about your activity. So I know you're active all day in the work you do. So do you do other exercise outside, or are you just working all day outside anyway, and that's your activity? What do you do?
I don't work every day, so I have to do other things. And since I've been on this challenge, I've been going to the gym a little bit, which I haven't done before. And I spent all the time on the treadmill, and I walked that 5K. Well, I ran it. And my daughter just called me yesterday, and she's giving me a yoga pass for a month for Christmas. And
how fun!
Yeah, I know. I said that's a great gift. I absolutely love yoga, and talk about a stress reliever. Yeah. When I do some yoga, I come out of there floating, and I'm just fine for a long time. I can deal with a lot of stuff. So my biggest challenge right now is I've been sick since the 1st of November. And
I can hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I had one cold. I got rid of it, but the cough didn't go away. But it made it difficult to do things, and it's embarrassing to be out and hacking my guts out. And now I've gotten a cold again, and I'm still coughing, and I'm starting to feel a little discouraged about it. But
and your so body does holds on to the weight because yeah.
I'm feeling, I haven't even weighed myself. I've been doing pretty good in every way, and this is what I tell myself: I'm doing the best I can, and I'm not really motivated this week. Like in the last few days, it's taking a toll on me physically as far as energy, but I'm just doing the best I can. So
yeah, really keep that water going. Of course, you're doing vitamin C and emergency and things like that, and get the extra sleep. Have you tried doing baths with Epsom salts that help you detox?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So that if you like to bathe, if you don't like to bathe, just at least soak your feet. But by using Epsom salts, and just start with a couple tablespoons the first time you do it.
Okay.
I like to do a couple tablespoons of Epsom salts, and then just a drop or two of peppermint or lavender or something like that in my bath. And your skin is a really good way to detox through your skin. So
you know what? You told me this before. I actually have written on a paper 2 tablespoons of Epsom salts. I'm going to do it today because I'm getting a little desperate. I've been a really good sport for a long time about this.
And do it as hot as you can stand it.
Okay.
I kind of just start with it. Okay. Like easy to get in, but then I just trickle hot water and just keep it getting hotter and hotter as I'm in there.
Okay.
Until you're cooked, you're well done.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I just shower off. Do you have a loofah or a?
I got scrubbers. Yeah.
You do that, and then just shower off as you rinse off with kind of cool, and loofah everything off. That just really helps your body just. And then avoid lotions and things, because when we put a lot of lotions on our body, it kind of clogs our pores and keep us from still detoxing through our skin. Lotions really aren't healthy for you. So anyway, that's what my massage therapist taught me, that it kind of keeps our body from breathing when we put all these lotions on. So anyway, so if I'm going to do something, I'll just do some things on my elbows or but I just don't do a lot of lotions on your body. So try that, and you'll be surprised that if you take a bath every day, you'll knock this cold faster.
Okay. All right, I'll try that.
Let's get you through. So then the next time you can go to 3 tablespoons of Epsom salts, then the next time 4. Yeah, you don't need more than 1/3 of a cup, but
all right,
that works. All right.
Okay.
Well, have a happy, active week, everyone, and I hope that you're feeling better.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to everyone later. I think we'll talk again next Wednesday.
All right. Thank you.
All righty. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.